challenges for accommodation in Scotland is the same as it is for service accommodation across the UK. In many circumstances, it's just simply not up to standard. And for families who are living in that accommodation, as well as not having their loved one with them because they're away serving, it's very, very difficult because often service families move from accommodation to accommodation. So by the time they make complaints, they're leaving the accommodation before it gets sorted. But we certainly know about mouldy, flooded homes across the UK that are just not up to the standard that service personnel should expect.
So how is this change going to affect the situation? This is seeing them more as renters with rights.
So we've looked for any opportunity that we can to ensure that service personnel and service accommodation has the same rights as you would expect for accommodation generally. And my colleague Helen Morgan, the MP for North Shropshire, in the last Parliament, she brought forward changes to legislation in relation to this. Now, the bill fell because of the general election, and the Renters' Right Act has been the next opportunity in Parliament to bring changes forward. And what's great about MOD and military accommodation is it is a reserved matter. It's a matter for the Ministry of Defence. So that change that we've been able to secure at Westminster will benefit service personnel who are based in Scotland. And I think that's really important to have that parity across the UK.
I mean, that is a good point, because it is that the government have announced more funding for this accommodation and have also announced that there'll be a new separate body set up to run this. I mean, there is work going on by the government. Is it necessary to attack this from a Scottish point of view?
I think it's important that we tackle it across the piece. What our amendment, or the agreed amendment we secured with the government in the House of Lords, does is it means that service family accommodation must be assessed as to whether it meets the decent home standard or not. And that sets a minimum legal standard for the safety, maintenance and comfort of housing. And I'd like to think anybody listening to your programme would agree that those who are serving our country and their families deserve to be in accommodation that meets the same standards as members of the public.